we see kind of a slow hand here from Prackalakin.
Yeah, kind of a
Uh,
slow hand. We've got a Carnadin Merchant, a Metal Fang, and a Scrap Tank, but none of the cheap Grenadins here.
I think the ideal start is Gleaming Grenadin on one, or maybe a Grenorender or Road or Scavenger on two. This expedition format doesn't have that many cheap Grenadins, so this is an average hand, but I'd be wanting something a little faster
Yeah,
if I was Prackalakin.
absolutely. Recon Tower starting out for YurickYu. I don't have their hand pulled up, but I'm going to try to get that in a second. And then a 5 drop off the top. Scrapper was not really what Prackalakin wanted to draw with this hand.
No, no. So going to the market, I wonder what they're gonna get. I guess D'Angelo Arson just
Yep, you called it.
uh
D'Angelo Arson. And there you go. On YurickYu's side, they've got a Desert Alchemist, a Vanquish, the Speaking Circle, and a bunch of power. So good interactive hand. And then you got that 6-power sight that everyone's been talking about. So we get to see that one in play hopefully today. But decent hand for YurickYu here.
I like this attacking first, forcing them to play out a card before they know they have to discard two. And discard generally is pretty good against ramp decks because they can't just get rid of power that easily. They want all their power. They want to be playing their sixes and sevens, and they just need all their cards.
All right, here comes a Wasteland Broker. And let's see. Not sure I'll be able to see what they put in there. Oh, no, I can't. I'll see if I can figure out from the deck lists, but
Yeah, I guess maybe a Shadow Sea Expedition or a Reality Warden.
those are both still in there. Looks like Honoris Roa, 5/5 for 5 Overwhelm is what's gone from the market. All right, combust off the
That's an
top for
interesting.
5/5.
That's an interesting pick because I guess that Scrap Tank is threatening, but Grenadin isn't really a beatdown deck. You don't need to be gaining a lot of life against them.
And YurickYu drawing 2 of those Honoris Roas right off the top. So good job, Wasteland Broker, putting those top 2 cards of your deck. YurickYu's going to use that Vanquish here, I assume.
This is a classic dilemma when you're playing against Grenadin. Do you go after the big Scrap Tank or the Scrapper? And I think they made the right play here. Scrapper is just too much value. You can't let that thing live.
Yep. YurickYu's hand, remember, is 2 Honoris Roas and the Speaking Circle, so can deploy any of those threats next turn. And got that 4/4 Wasteland Broker. Here comes Metal Fang. Put YurickYu down to 10.
I think they're going to need an Equalize or something like that to get back in this game. This site's been really exciting so far.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
The average choices are generally pretty good. You won't always get the same thing, but it's a lot of value.
All right, what did he... Unfortunately, we can't see the options pop up on the spectate screen, unfortunately. But it looks like, do the other ones just play a Display of Menace there?
What did they pick with it?
It didn't seem to do anything. I'm not sure what happened there, unless that was a misclick or something. But it didn't really seem like anything happened on that first one.
You know what, though? I don't think it would have mattered a ton,
Yeah,
even
that's
if they
true.
vanished here.
That's true.
Uh,
And YurickYu had that third Anor's Roa off the top. So, so Wasteland Broker put 3 copies on the top of their deck. But Prackalakin going to take that first game. That was pretty quick by the Grenadin's deck. Nice showing there.
yeah, we we see Broker doing what it sometimes does, where it gives late game value, but if you need to draw answers, it's not going to be your best market access.
Yeah, that was interesting there because, like you said, you wanted a card there. You want to put a market in there. You want that value, but I don't think YurickYu wanted 3 of those Roas right on the top. That's definitely not what they wanted in that set of the game there. All right, going down to game 2 here. Remember, these are best of 3. So you have 4 power, a Roto Scavenger, a Scrapper, and a Scrap Tank. So kind of similar hand to last time, but you do have that 2-drop this time, so that's pretty good for Prackalakin.
Yeah, I think this is a keep. Uh, I think you have enough time against this ramp deck. Uh, the name ramp is a little misleading. This is more kind of a big power deck. Your only real ramp card is Enter the Monastery. Uh, the Grenadin player has time to get synergies set up. And we see that Merchant again. I'm They're probably going to put away a Scrapper, I think,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and get that D'Angelo Arson again.
All right, Prackalakin is going to throw away a Scrapper, but this time it's going to grab Wyatt's Junkyard, a 5 power site. Deals 2 damage to you at the end of the turn. With lots of good options. Here comes the Broker. And they're going to go for the same thing. Going to put that row on the top of the deck. Hopefully not draw 4 in a row this time, 3 in a row this time.
Gleaming Grenadin's a good draw, just more fodder for
Mm-hmm.
Scrapper when you get him active.
Here comes another Wasteland Broker.
This
This
is going to
time,
put in.
the Reality Ward in there. It's going to put the Reality Ward in. So a lot of cards off on the top of the deck that's been put in there by 2 Wasteland Brokers.
Yeah, they're kind of choking themselves again on interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they want to be. It's a weird play, but I'd be tempted to just pick nothing with Broker if you want to run it out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yuki's got Diana here, got another Diana in hand, Enter the Monastery, and it's got a Tuvan Skybreak Giant in hand as well. And here comes the site for Prackalakin.
maybe oh yeah, Treachery
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep. Treachery to start it off, so deal 2 damage to the enemy player, and they discard a unit or site of their choice.
The other option was Chemical Rounds on Diana, but they're Combre. They don't have a way to deal 1 damage. You
Mm-hmm.
can do that next turn. Although here, Yurik might be forcing Prackalakin's hand with that explosion.
Mm-hmm.
They might have to answer the Diana with it.
Mm-hmm. And there you go. There's the chemical rounds on the Diana this time. An explosion here for the other Diana. So pretty good. Prackalakin was able to deal with those Dianas there. Well, somewhat. Still got the ultimate on this one, but was able to keep it neutralized for now.
So Roto Scavenger says sacrifice, not die. So those Grenadins, if they die, they won't grow that.
Mm-hmm. Or deal the 1 damage, yep. All right, here comes Enter the Monastery for YurickYu. Got a Reality Warden, which is going to come down right now. A Builder's Decree and a bunch of power. Prackalakin
Builder's
get a
Decree
chump to
on
keep that site alive.
Builder's Decree on 9 is no joke. You get 2 9/9s and lock out one of their cards.
Yeah.
That Warden did a lot there. It stopped. I think Prackalakin made that attack last turn knowing they would get the Smuggler's Stash,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
wow.
now
Yeah.
their scrap ticket is just stranded in the void. That thing could have grown up to just be big enough that it had to be chumped every turn, but just traded for a broker.
Yeah, good point. Good play there, YurickYu. Scavenger's going to go up to a 4-3 here.
And Prackalakin's holding on to the Combust. I like that. You have blockers on the ground. Save the Combust for something really scary.
Like a pair of 9/9s.
Yeah.
Builder's Decree, choose a non-power card, and then amplify to make a Sentinel equal to your power. YurickYu's going to amplify twice, so they're going to be able to lock down a card and get 2 9/9s, thanks to them having 9 power in hand. So some big bodies there for YurickYu.
I'm guessing we're going to see an Arson here just take care of those last 2 cards. Oh yeah, Scrapper first is... Well, that's interesting because you don't have a ton of blockers.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of that Diana is smart. When YurickYu gets to 12, that gets really big.
Mm-hmm. Here comes the Merchant. Toss away that power. I'm going to get that Arson, as you mentioned. That's going to knock those 2 cards out of YurickYu's hand. But not really attacks through this 9/9. It's a pair of 9/9s.
No. We see Wyatt drawing a card.
Mm-hmm. Wyatt Junkyard Dog is a 5/5 for 5 with Decay. When you take damage on your turn, draw one of the top 2 cards of your deck and discard the other. And thanks to Wyatt's Junkyard being out there, which deals 2 damage to you, that's, as long as it's out there, essentially a card a turn. But Prackalakin has other ways to deal damage to themselves as well. So, good piece for this deck.
So they get one easy block. The next one becomes a lot harder. I don't think you can let this through when you have the Junkyard in play.
Mm-hmm. That 2 damage will definitely add up.
The Scrapper's not as valuable without many more Grenadin in hand. It is gaining you life, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, Prackalakin's going to get the deadly block on one of them, and then it's going to block with the 5/5 Decay to bring that down to a 4/4. But then YurickYu is going to follow up with another Reality Ward, another 7/7 body. So YurickYu's got some big bodies on the other side of the board. They've been shrunk a little bit thanks to Decay, but they're still pretty big over there.
Yeah. What do they have left in their market? So that
Let's see.
There's an Edict of Makar in their market.
Mm-hmm. An Edict, a Devouring Shadow, another Scrapper, a Krull, and a Power. Going to toss that Shadow Silver for the Edict. That's going to take out the 7/7. I'm going to follow up with an Overloader and take 2 damage from the site.
Oh, yeah, the board's somewhat stabilized now. Oh, Svetya is...
Svetya.
That's going to make protecting, well, I guess not the site, your life a lot harder. There aren't really many good plays here. You don't want to be combusting to kill a 5/5. I think Prackalakin just has to sit, I think. Unless they want to fire off an explosion against their site, but I think that would be a little aggressive. Wait. Does that deal to anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it says deal
So
4
that is,
damage, so I think so, yeah.
although that scrapper does neutralize the damage. If you get the board stable, Combray has no reach, so you can just keep scrapping and
Mm-hmm.
ignore the site.
Wasp was the draw for YurickYu.
That that's not really doing a ton
Yeah,
here.
it doesn't really do much here.
We're gonna see. We might see a pyrotech explosion killing Sufetya. I think the amplify is 5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, upstairs. Um, kind of aggressive. Like, I that's the tempting use whenever you have an explosion. Is to aim for their head. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Without more damage, that's kind of just wasting resources.
Yeah, at 23, that's not going to kill them or not really get them even close to killing them in the next few turns. So, all right, Prackalakin down to 10. YurickYu's happy to sit here and let them ping themselves to death. Uh, Row off the top. That's going to be another 5/5 there. And after throwing a burn spell at your face, your next card drawing 10 life doesn't make you feel great.
And Roa makes it so the explosion has to be aimed at it, or
Mm-hmm.
it's not doing anything. Oh, sacrificing that Roto Scavenger, that's kind of a desperate move.
Mm-hmm. All
We
right,
might see that. Oh, go ahead.
Grenarender here. Grenarender and Shadow Etchings off the top. Um, YurickYu's in great shape here with this site. It's going to really see Prackalakin's got a lot of cards in hand, but there you go. They're going to fire off 2 to decay the Roa. It's tough. I'm sure there's a
You
way out of this.
wonder.
They've got a ton of options, but it's not looking great. None of these options really answer the problem on board. So, see, they're going to go to their market here. They've got Devouring Shadow, Scrapper, or Krull to get.
Think they had to kill the Reality Warden and use that Nectar next turn to get back a scrap tank. Uh, they need to go big on the board, and I don't think just shrinking YurickYu's units is gonna do it.
Caleb, thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate it. Welcome, everyone, from Caleb's stream. This is weekly challenge number 3. This is our first expedition tournament for Tuesday Night Eternal. So, kind of the world's first look at competitive expedition. So, we've got a cool Grenadin deck here taking on Combray. And that's going to move it to 1-1 on this match. So, they're going to go to game 3, I believe.
Yeah, that I guess I don't have experience in this matchup really, so I can't say for sure, but I think it's possible Grenadins could have gotten out of that there. It's
All right.
there's
Head down to game 3 here. Prackalakin starting off now. Here's the hand they wanted with all the cheap units. They've got Gleaming Grenadin, Overloader, Grenarender, Nectar of Unlife, Metal Fang, and a Pyrotechnic Explosion. So much cheaper hand than we've seen Prackalakin have the last 2 games.
yeah, as long as they keep drawing a little more power, this is a great hand. That Nectar's a little awkward though because there's not really anything you're happy. Well, it can deal with an alchemist or an acolyte or a wasp, but uh, that exchange isn't really putting you ahead in the game. It's mostly just card advantage spell for the late game.
Mm-hmm. All right, YurickYu looking at a hand of Diana, Wasteland Broker, Tuvan Skybreak Giant, Equalize, and an Amber Acolyte. And Wasteland Broker is going to put Reality Warden in the market. So YurickYu changing things up this time. We saw Roa the last two games, going to put Reality Warden in there first this time, which was a pretty effective a card last game.
Yeah. If you can stall the board and get a couple Reality Wardens in play, that stops a lot of Prackalakin's late game. I wonder if we're going to see it combust here, because Prackalakin, like, they seem to be wanting to take an aggressive line. Oh, they're going to attack and hope well, I thought they might be playing Nectar here, but they're just going to do the classic attack and devour. For people not who weren't around when Grenadin was first attacked, that's Devour's a versatile card that you're playing at all different times. Like sometimes it's blocking and devouring, sometimes it's just main phase, I need to draw power. Other times it's block whatever you want, I'm gonna sack it, and you take some damage.
Here comes that 7-cent ambush. Going to eat one of those Grenadin. Prackalakin's going to follow up with another one to replace it.
No combust here, though. Kind of interesting. It wasn't inconceivable that YurickYu just paid for an activated Tuvan. And I don't know. I don't think Prackalakin would be very happy with that. Like making a bigger threat, drawing cards. That's a nice answer to the site. Really want another power, though. We see overloaders doing work. Oh, now we see the combust.
Here comes Amber Acolyte for YurickYu. Second Amber Acolyte. Remember, they've got huge cards in hand. They've got an Equalize in hand, another Amber Acolyte. They've got a Reality Warden. They've got a Speaking Circle. So lots of action on YurickYu side.
Expect that Equalize to be coming out anytime soon. The board's under control. YurickYu's up ahead on cards in hand. The opposite of when Equalize is generally effective.
YurickYu going to turn on the gas here and start swinging with that 8/8. Prackalakin, looked like they had the early lead, but those 8/8s and 7/7s hit pretty hard. And a lot of chump blockers, obviously, but those can bring your life total down in a hurry.
Unlike in the past, though, Grenadin doesn't have a great way to get back ahead on board. There's no witching hour in Expedition. There's no gear cruncher. Those used to be how you kind of turn the tables on these decks that you had to jump a lot, but now you're just jumping and don't expect any return on the investment.
Yeah, the metal thing is going to do a pretty good job. What can they do here? Prackalakin can essentially sack a Grenadin every turn to give this flying charge and lifesteal each turn. That can do some
Yeah, that
damage. I mean, YurickYu can chump, but if they don't answer that, there you go. That'll silence it. that could have done some damage in a hurry. Well, that'll take care of that. Thank you for the follow, Nick Venn. Much appreciated. And YurickYu with 2 more Reality Wardens plus that Edict to take care of the flying unit, and that's going to put Prackalakin really on the back foot. Plus drawing another power for the turn, and that's just going to be it. Prackalakin's going to pack it in, and YurickYu is going to take that match 2